Hello and welcome to the CVCS Athletics Podcast. I am your host, Grady Sanchez. Today is Thursday, September 7th, and this is our very first episode, and man, am I excited to be here with you. We have interviews with our athletic director and head football coach, Eric Preszler. Student-athlete interviews with senior volleyball captain Kenna Henjum and senior football captain JP Synnott. The results from last week's games. The girls volleyball team beat Webb in 3 straight sets, and the football team took their first loss of the season, losing to St. Margaret's 20-26. Now for the upcoming schedule for CVCS Athletics. Thursday, we have a home football game at Saddleback College, and we play El Segundo. On Thursday, the women's volleyball team plays Tarbut Tora. Also on Thursday, we have girls tennis playing Dana Hills. This weekend, the girls volleyball team is in the Whittier tournament. Next week, on Tuesday, the girls volleyball team plays Fairmont Prep. Next week, on Tuesday, girls tennis plays Whittier Christian. And then on Wednesday, girls volleyball plays Foothill at CVCS. Lots of games to look forward to. Get out there and support your Eagles. This week, we get to talk to our athletic director and head football coach, Eric Preszler. His athletics career started in Minnesota as a 3-sport high school athlete, earning his way to play football at Concordia College in Minnesota. He continued his education to get a doctorate degree in physical therapy from Chapman University. Coach Preszler has been coaching high school and college athletics for the past 18 years. He has had 2 stints with CVCS dating back to 2011. Since 2020, the Eagles football team has had a record of 18-5. They won a league championship and a CIF berth in 2022. That's quite a resume, Eric. We are so glad to have you here at CVCS. It is an honor to have you on our first show. Let's kick it off with what makes CVCS a great place to coach student athletes?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on your inaugural CVCS podcast. It's a pretty cool deal you guys got going on here. What makes this place so great to coach is the same reason it makes it a great place to be a teacher or a student is we're all in this thing together. And whether you're the kindergarten teacher or the high school principal, you know all of our kids by name, and there's just an investment in the entire student body that is special and makes it a family feel. And so we have the mantra of small school community, big school opportunity in our athletic department, and that rings true as a football coach here.
I couldn't agree more. One of the special places around, and one of the things I love about CVCS is that family atmosphere, both on and off the field, in the classroom or at homes or in the hallways. CVCS provides that little personal touch and where everybody knows your name, which is really great. So far this season, the Eagles are 1-1 with a big win against Calvary Chapel, Mr. Walker's alma mater, and a nail-biter loss against St. Margaret's. How do you think the young men are looking this season?
Yeah, it's a long season. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So you take one game at a time, and I thought we've had 2 good performances. One came up a little short, but we played hard in both. And it's early, we're still trying to get in football shape, to be honest with you, and that can only be done by playing football games. So we're taking it one at a time and trying to get ready for that level of intensity each week.
That's awesome. Going to the past couple of games, there's a lot of talent on the field. You can just see the natural athleticism and how dynamic the young men are. Who are some players that we should keep our eye out for?
Yeah, we're blessed to have some playmakers for sure, and guys who've been in the program for a few years, like JP Synnott's a senior, has been playing since his freshman year. Nate Ritchie's been a 3-year starter at quarterback, starting to get to the point where he really understands what we're doing as a coach on the field. Max Krosky's really stepped up as a safety and receiver. Heath Carlson as well as a receiver and DB. But up front, we can't get anything done without those guys up front, both on offense and defense. And so, we've been very productive on the defensive line and offensive line the last 2 years, and it starts with those guys. So there's some playmakers all over the field, but it doesn't mean much if you don't have the trenches up front. And so you got to give those big guys up front a lot of credit too.
That's right. A lot of respect for the big men up front. Going with the talented players, this program is rich with their winning tradition. Like I said, your record as of the last 3 years is 18-5. What type of culture do you try to instill into the young men to make you guys successful as a program?
The first thing I would say is just from an athletic director stance, high school sports are supposed to be fun. And so I think we make sure that stays part of the program and is relevant. It just needs to be an experience where when you're done playing any sport at this school, you look back and go, hey, that was an awesome time, and I learned a lot and had a good time with my friends and my coaches. And I think that's one thing that we've held true at CVCS, where in some of the places it's become almost like a job, and kids end up quitting or not playing. And so the biggest thing for us is make it fun and make it hard. And if you're having fun doing hard things, good things will happen from it.
Yes, I couldn't agree more on that one too. One of the things that I like to have on the baseball field is if we're fun, that means we're learning. And if we're learning, we're developing.
That's right.
And if we're developing, we're getting better.
Exactly.
Wins, losses will come, but the fun will stay forever. And you're always going out there competing for the boys, is what I kind of try to tell them on the field.
Yep.
Is that you don't always remember the wins and losses, but going to the battle with the boys right next to you in the trenches, it's a whole lot of fun, and that's what you take home.
Exactly.
Our school motto on the academic side is to provide an educational excellence in a Christ-centered environment. How do you and your coaching staff continue to help the students in their walk with Christ?
Well, I think a couple of things. We've been pretty intentional with our entire staff and involved Coach PJ, Coach Jeff Hamilton, pastor at Hills Church, just being a mentor for our coaches, being able to make sure we're staying grounded and keeping things in perspective of what's first. And so that starts with the training of our coaches. And from a football standpoint, we have chapel every game day, which is great. There's a message that is part of the weekly plan. But I think probably even more important than that is we've started what we call the Leadership Lab, and leadership stands for love, effort, attitude, and discipline. And not every football player is in that group, but there's a large number of guys who are. And so we talk about different aspects of leadership, and it doesn't necessarily turn into a Bible study, but there's biblical principles obviously in what we're talking about. And then that, I think, permeates the rest of our team, what we're able to get across to those leaders.
Forming young men in the shape of Christ. What a wonderful job that you have, and the impact that you have on the young men is going to be something that you see further down the road. I know it's a grind being day in, day out with some of these guys, but
for sure.
But
that's what makes
all
it
the
worth
stories
it,
that come back, it's just
exactly.
It matters so much what we do, and the day-to-day grind is nothing compared to what we get out of these boys in the long run. Final question is that last year was one of our first times in CVCS history that we made CIF. What plans do you have for improving this year and for the years to come, our football program?
Yeah, our school has been around for, it's going to be 50 years now, and I'd have to double check this with a couple of our staff members, but I don't think that we have won a 11-man playoff football game. For a lot of years, the school has been 8-man. It's been a small school, and been bounced around 11-man a few times, but had some success in our league and in our schedule, but got to playoffs and seemed to be always getting bumped up a couple divisions because of our success, and just never been able to take the next step. And so I guess what I'd say to that is, if you want to do something for the first time, you got to do things you've never done before. And so that's just understanding the level of intensity and hard work and effort that we need to put into place in practice, because you can't go get ready for a playoff game in 1 week. You got to do it from June, July, August, and through the entire season. And it's a grind. And that's why we talked about in the beginning. It's a marathon, and you got to work every single day at it. And some days you're going to feel good about it, and some days it's going to be hard to do. You just got to do it anyway.
Yes, we're on step 3 of that marathon. We're in week 3 with a big game on Thursday against El Segundo, and Coach Preszler and the young men out on the field are going to fight their hearts out, do what they can for the victory, and give God all the glory.
Yes, sir.
Eric, I wanted to just say thank you so much for coming on for the first inaugural podcast. Super excited to be here. I'm just having a blast doing this, and it was a joy to have you on, and I really look forward to chatting with you again.
Yes, sir. Look forward to listening.
Thanks, Eric.
Thanks, brother.
This week we have Kenna Henjum joining us. She is a stellar 2-sport athlete playing volleyball and soccer. She is an outside hitter on the highly decorated girls volleyball team here at CVCS. She serves CVCS on the student leadership team as the head prefect. When asking around who to interview for the girls volleyball team, every single person said, "Interview Kenna. She is amazing." You have quite the reputation and are a glowing example of what CVCS is all about. You are the perfect student athlete to get this podcast kicked off. This week we have JP Synnott joining us on the show. He is a dual sport athlete playing football and baseball. He is a wide receiver, running back, and linebacker for the football team. On the baseball team, he is a catcher and corner infielder. In his senior year, he is the captain of the football team and is having himself a great start to the season. Knowing you personally from baseball and math class, I can attest to this young man's work ethic, leadership, and genuine kindness for others. Above all, he is a shining example of Christ and has made major impacts on other people's lives through his great character. It is an honor to have you both here on the show with me on the first episode of the CVCS Athletics podcast.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Let's go ahead and start off with, how has your experience been here at CVCS as a student athlete?
Yeah, it's been great. I've come from a public school over to a private school, and over there you're a number. You're not really like cared for as much as you should be. But over here it's been great. Academically, also as athletically. Speaking as, like you hear people say all the time, it's like small school, big opportunity, So I could attest for that for sure.
Yeah, definitely agree. I think I'm super thankful for everything that CVCS has been in my life, and I've had a great experience. Kind of going off of what JP said, it's a smaller school, so you have more opportunities to do more things. You can play multiple sports. You can be involved in clubs. Your teachers help you strive for academic success, and I think it's just really amazing place to be. The community is the best here.
For sure it is.
I couldn't agree more, because one of the main things for me is that CVCS is a family, and we all know your names, and it's small class sizes, so everybody knows where you are, and it's a whole lot of fun. Kenna, this one is for you. The volleyball team right now is 10-1, 3-0 in league, currently ranked number 1 in the Southern Section Division 4, and ranked within the top 50 of the entire state of California. What are some of the early season takeaways from your team and some things that you hope to build on?
Yeah, so something that our coaches have been really emphasizing this season is making the person to your left and to your right the most important person on the court. And I think this team's been together for a few seasons now. We have a lot of chemistry, but I think one of our biggest problems is we tend to play for ourselves instead of playing for the team. And I think we've lost our fair share of our championships. So I think starting to play for each other and making the person to our right and left most important is going to be the difference between that second and first place medal. So yeah. Yeah,
learning from those successes, learning from the failures.
Yep.
Sometimes the failures you learn a little bit more from, because there's so much more to grow from. And that's inspiring to hear from such a young athlete.
Because I just want to say, like, the failures, like last year at baseball when I threw down the first, I got baited by the trip. That didn't help I didn't add to us winning, but I added a little bit to the loss, so failures are what make you who you are.
Yeah, we learn a lot in those moments. Speaking of your baseball career, JP, I got the honor of coaching you as a sophomore on the JV team, and now you're a big guy on campus, senior, varsity football, varsity baseball. Can you tell me more about your experience as a two-sport athlete?
Yeah, absolutely, I can. Playing baseball and football, usually like the coaches don't like each other. The football coaches don't like the baseball coaches, whatever, blah, 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 all that jambalaya. But over here, like, the coaches, like, they all love each other, like Coach Sanchez, a great guy, loves always talking to Coach Bean, Chach and Preszler. They go out to eat lunch all the time. So that's a cool thing. They all, they respect each other's sports and, the grind it takes for each sports. And, they're super understanding with, when it's football season, you're playing football. And when it's baseball season, it's baseball season,
Yeah, couldn't agree more. We highly encourage two-sport athletes, keeping them athletes and not just a single-minded baseball player or football player that other opportunities that schools have. Kenna, can you speak to being a two-sport athlete, doing volleyball and soccer?
Yeah, it's hard because it's like the second one season's over, you're starting to practice for the next sport.
Yeah.
And it can become overwhelming at times because it's just, you feel like you're never stopping and it's just a constant grind. But I think CVCS is such an amazing place to be a sport athlete because the coaches, like JP said, they're so understanding that you are a busy person. You have school, you have multiple sports you're playing, so they want you to be able to do everything and strive for excellence at everything. So I think it's, yeah.
And I would like to add too, I know it's a private school and that means that we're Christ-centered, as a school, but the coaches, I can't really speak for Kenna and volleyball, with the Coach Bond and soccer, Senora, but I know from baseball and football, the coaches really are bought into you and your walk with Christ, and it's just as important as winning ball games,
Yes, here on the baseball team we do a devotion every week, and then also on the football team, Coach Preszler highlighted that he also does a weekly devotion. Is that true?
Yes, sir, it is. It's a Coach PJ out there.
Yeah, and we open up our practice every day with share and praise prayer. So every single practice since I've been at CVCS, we give the first 10 minutes to just like getting to know each other more and talking about our weekends and sharing prayer requests and things we need help with in our lives. And it's just like such an amazing thing that, because a lot of schools don't get to have that, but we do. And it just creates more community and chemistry on the team.
I love to hear all of that. Same message across the board. A Christ-centered athletics department, a Christ-centered academic department. What a special place it is to be here at CVCS. Kenna, it seems like everything you touch turns to gold. You work hard, you play hard, and you commit all that you have to others.
Let's go, Kenna.
You have a bright future ahead of you. What are your plans for after your time here at CVCS?
I'm not 100% sure yet. I mean, I still got a year to figure it out. The goal is to play college volleyball. I'm talking to a few schools right now, trying to get everything figured out. I'm going to go visit them and kind of just see where the Lord is taking me, kind of see what doors open up, what doors close. So I'm just kind of waiting to see what happens, but I'm excited for the next steps.
That is awesome. A little bit of advice from me, something that I learned over the years of having a lot of great options and a lot of great decisions to make between a good choice and another good choice is pray, give it up to God, and pick. Just like you said, there's doors that open, doors that close, and God will lead you all the way. JP, you're off to a hot start with football. You've proven your case over and over on football and baseball. What lays ahead for you?
I just picked up an offer from Cal Lutheran to go play football down there next year. So we'll see, just like Kenna said, give it up to God and see, like all the options open, keep them up. Like I've learned the hard way, actually, like don't burn bridges. There was a school out in Indiana that was recruiting me. I went ghost for a little bit and never heard back from them. So that's partly on me, but we'll see what God has in plan. But somewhere either playing football or baseball next year, or who knows? Maybe God's got a construction site lined up for me.
Yeah, the journey of life is a windy one. You never know what it is, but you do just give it up. You trust that God's got a plan for you, and you just take what's there and continue giving Him the praise and glory all the way through.
Yes, sir.
Finally, like to round it out is we've already kind of alluded to it, but how has your teammates, how have your coaches, how has the community here at CVCS influenced your walk with Christ?
Yeah, so, since my freshman year kind of was cut off of COVID, my sophomore year was kind of my first real year playing volleyball here. And my sophomore season, it was super sophomore freshman heavy. It was a super sophomore freshman heavy team. So it felt like I've gotten to spend the past 3 years with the same team, which has been so amazing, and just surrounded by girls who genuinely care about me and care about my walk with the Lord and who are constantly encouraging me to strengthen my relationship with Him. Coach Vaughn and Coach Katie are two of the biggest mentors in my life, and I think they'll continue to be. Their influences to me on the court, but also off the court. And I just think in general, CVCS is a place where they want you to focus on your academics, your athletics, but most importantly, Christ. And they want you to make that the center of everything you do. And I think it's just an easy place to do that. And they teach you how to do it and not just expect it. So
I would like to add on to that. I would like to mention that all my coaches, baseball, football, it doesn't matter rain or shine, early, late, I could call any one of my coaches and, they would be there for me. They're my mentors, and that's something I really appreciate and it's valuable to me. And it's what the first dude that pops in my mind is PJ. He's really I've been talking with him and he's really been helping me learn the values of being a good Christian father and a man someday. And it's just awesome because you can't really get that at any other place. They're while I'm walking in my faith, they're walking right by me. So and speaking on my teammates and Kenna, we're all good buddies. Everyone's all friends here. They're all my brothers and sisters. And it's lifelong friendships.
Yeah, what an amazing message that is. Before the season, before their school year, we go through campus, we pray over each part. We go through the baseball field, we pray over each part. And we really instill and preach the love and the glory that comes with Jesus. And it's just reflected in the young athletes, the young student athletes that we help mold here over the time that they are here at CVCS, whether it's 1 year, a semester, or all 4 years, or even if they're lifers, because at CVCS we're a K through 12. And the time that we get is invaluable, and we cherish every moment we have with them. Thank you both, JP and Kenna, for your time. It was great to chat with you today. We're looking forward to a strong volleyball season and football season. we're excited for all the things that you get to accomplish. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you
Yeah,
for
of
having
course.
us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
That's a wrap here on the first episode of the CVCS Athletics Podcast. Thank you to Coach Preszler. Thank you to JP and Kenna for making their way down to the studio today. What a blast that was, and what an honor it was to speak with them today. Coach Preszler does an amazing job with the young men that he has and the athletics department as a whole. Kenna and JP were just a joy. They really embody what it is that CVCS is all about. So happy to have them on. Thank you for listening to the CVCS Athletics Podcast. You can check out our other shows on the CVCS Podcast Network on Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Looking forward to another great week. Eagles country, let's fly.
This episode has been a production of the Capistrano Valley Christian Schools Podcast Network. Capistrano Valley Christian Schools is a Christian JK-12 school in San Juan Capistrano, California. Be sure to check out, subscribe to, and leave a review of this show and the other shows on our network on your podcast player of choice. Doing so supports the school community in a multitude of ways. For more information about the CVCS Podcast Network or any of our other shows, check out cvcs.org or email podcasts@cvcs.org. On behalf of the whole network, this is Mr. Jasper saying thank you again for listening, and stay tuned for more.